Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today I want to work on my 12 valve 600 horsepower Cummins drag truck. I built this truck because I always wanted a Cummins drag truck. I built it for the duct tape drags. That was my motivation. Now it's been sitting here since last October after the duct tape drags event, and now it's May, and I kind of got burnt out with it because I put a lot of work into it, but now I'm kind of ready to get back into the swing of things and shake loose on it, put some parts on it, and take it back to the drag strip. So I bought some things for it that has been sitting in the cab because I just haven't wanted to work on it. I actually bought myself a race jacket, like a fire jacket and a helmet, because I borrowed my buddies at the duct tape drags. Figured I needed my own. There's some goodies in here, we'll get them out. So I have a few things here that I bought from Power Driven Diesel that we can put on here. These are bell crank bushings for the throttle. I'll show you guys that in a minute. This is an adjustable timing gear. This is a killer dowel pin repair kit, which I don't remember if I did to this truck. I don't think I did. This is a P-pump lock washer. This goes on the front of the harmonic balancer, or the fluid damper they call it, or whatever, so that you can easily get a socket on there to crank the engine over instead of trying to use one of the 4 bolts on it. You just put it on the center and go. This is a cover for this. It's gonna go on the timing cover. And then the big kahuna is I got slicks. So these are 34 tall, 14 wide, 16-inch rim. My biggest problem when I drag raced this at duct tape drags for the first time was I kept breaking the tires loose. I couldn't launch it with any kind of boost or any kind of decent staging because the tires would just boil themselves, which I guess I'm kind of proud of. I built something powerful enough to where I need slicks. That's pretty cool. So I got the slicks, and the rims are on order, and they're not going to get here for, I don't know, a few weeks maybe, but I had to order custom rims because most people use a Ford 9-inch with a regular bolt pattern. This is a 3/4 ton truck, so it's got 8 on 6.5. They don't sell a lot of rim options for these, so I had to order some custom ones from California. So remember, this truck is supposed to be putting out about 600 horsepower. I have not dynoed it yet. All the parts I bought from Power Driven Diesel for the injection pump, engine, turbo, I built the trans, everything is made for 600 horsepower, but I don't know that as a fact. But my goal is 12 seconds, around 120 miles an hour. 12 seconds something, maybe not 12 flat, but my goal is to get into the 12s. If the head gasket blows or something like that, well, you're taking the head off, and I'll probably do a ported head and all that. But it's a stock head, stock cam, stock head gasket with studs, 64mm turbo, some pump work done, bigger delivery valves, 5x16 injectors, 650 horsepower transmission, triple disc torque converter, billet input shaft, extra clutches, upgraded clutches, full manual valve body, all that good business. So it's a race truck, all right? It's built. The stuff I have on the table is just kind of tchotchke items. It's just little extras. None of this stuff is going to add like 150 horsepower. This is just tweaks, okay? But the slicks are a big deal. So the first thing we're going to do is replace the bell crank bushing. But before we do that, real quick, I want to talk about something very important, and that's the sponsor of today's video, ZocDoc. You know, I don't worry too much, but recently I had a situation where I had to prioritize my health immediately. I got something stuck in my eye, a piece of metal. I didn't want to make a doctor's appointment because I thought it would go away, and it didn't, and I eventually had to see an eye doctor. They had to pluck it out. Everybody has to have a doctor's appointment sometime in their life, and it's really easy to procrastinate booking your doctor's appointments because it's very annoying, it's overwhelming, and who really wants to see a doctor, you know what I mean? But ZocDoc makes it so easy. ZocDoc lets you compare local in-network doctors. They have 150,000 providers across 200 different specialties in all 50 states, which makes them extremely convenient to use. ZocDoc's website has tons of reviews from real patients who have used the service. You can see actual appointment openings and click to instantly book a visit. Appointments are usually 24 to 72 hours out, but sometimes you can get an appointment same day. And the best part is ZocDoc is free to use, so it's a win-win. Taking care of your health just got a lot easier thanks to my sponsor ZocDoc. go to ZocDoc.com/TravisB, or click the link in the description of this video or in the pinned comment of this video, or if you're watching on a television, you can scan the QR code right here on your screen and it'll take you right to it. Thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to work. So the first thing we're going to do is replace the bell crank bushing that is in the throttle linkage of this P-pump. You can see how worn that is. There's usually a TPS sensor that goes here, but this truck doesn't need one, so everything's all mechanical. I'm not using the original computer. And you know, when I hit the gas, it kind of has like this dead spot before it goes, but it's because, I mean, it's just locking up. So I want smooth operation of the throttle, so we're going to take this apart and replace it. So there's 3 bolts that hold this bracket on to the injection pump, and we're going to have to loosen them. Well, first we'll take this little spring off. I don't know if we have to take these out all the way. We'll loosen them a pretty good bit. You can see it starting to come away from the pump now. Itty bitty little 7mm head bolts. There's a clip. Okay. So, alright, so there's, oh shit, bushing. Look at that bushing. It's so wore a hole in it. It's only plastic. But yeah, that is wore out. And then there's, oh, there's a washer, don't want to lose that. And then here's the other one. There we go. There it is. Not a hole worn in it, but it's toast. So I'm going to put some super white lithium grease on these bell crank bushings. Help just with ease of operation. You want to make sure that it can travel as smooth as possible. Maybe you don't need this, maybe they don't tell you to do it, but I'm going to do it. So this one goes in like that. There we go. And then our washer, and then our clip. Now, it's much tighter when you operate the throttle. See how firm it is? It's not shaky. I noticed that when I was racing this the first time around, but it was binding here. You want it smooth. So now what we're gonna do is the timing gear, which is gonna sort of kind of be a hassle because we gotta do more than just take the gear off and put the new gear on. We gotta have to modify the timing cover, which once you modify it, there ain't no going back, so. Here's our injection pump gear, and right here is the killer dowel pin. So there's the bolt, and there's the pin right there. And you can see I obviously have not done the killer dowel pin fix yet, and it is working its way out a little bit. Good thing that we're in here, because that dowel pin falls out, can get in between these gears here, chomp, break the gears, bust your pump, bust the cam, can destroy the crank. I mean, that little pin right there is like the Achilles heel of these engines. They put that dowel pin in there to stop vibrations on the timing cover. It's the only reason that they did it. So now we're going to put the engine at top dead center. Number one, I got the pin in the back of the timing cover pushed. Go ahead and rotate the engine. There it is. Felt it go right in. Okay, so here we have the original timing gear, and here we have the adjustable timing gear. It's kind of fancy, pretty cool. You can see how it's got all these holes drilled in it. So there's a few advantages to this over this. If you're driving your truck on the street, like I have a second gen Cummins I drive, I would never put this on, because you set the timing to what you want. Mine is 18 degrees and you just go with it. You're not switching it all the time. You don't need this. But because this is a drag truck and there's going to be a lot of testing and tuning and trial and error, changing the timing is pretty time consuming. So this is supposed to make changing your timing not on the fly, but faster than taking the gear off of the shaft of the injection pump. So the other benefit to making timing the engine a little bit faster is this is keyed, and it comes with a Woodruff key. The factory timing gears do not come with a Woodruff key. You can see how it's just a taper fit. There is no spot for a key. You can see right here on the injection pump, the shaft is in the shape of a cone. Well, the injection pump gear is also in the shape of a cone, and they slip together, and it's just a friction fit. Tighten this to 144 foot-pounds, and the sheer friction from cone to cone stops it from slipping. But when you start running more horsepower, you run the risk, not the guarantee, but the risk that your timing could slip under heavy loads. And you don't want your timing to slip, because then it's hard to figure out where you're at. It messes up your run. It could damage things. So you don't want it to slip. And you can see very conveniently the shaft is machined for a key, but they don't come with a key. Now the first gen Cummins, they came with a key, the VE pumps, but the second gens, I guess they thought a taper fit was just fine. And it really just, it does work. But adding that Woodruff key ensures that the timing is not going to slip. Another interesting thing that Power Driven did when they designed these is they made it to where you can basically put infinite timing in it without having to take the gear off the shaft. Now what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you want to advance the timing and you're going crazy, you know, like you're big leagues. You advance it, you advance it, you advance it, but you run out of advance because you have the gear hitting the bolts, right? So what you can do is, once you run out, you can take two of them out. You can put this one here and this one here, right? And you can go further Once you run out again, right, say we're turning it this way, right, you run out once more, take these out, you switch them here, and you can go again. And then you'll run out on 2 more, and you switch those, and you can essentially keep on going without ever running out. So we'll put our Woodruff key in like that. There it is. Okay, dowel pin fixed. So now that the gear is on, we have to modify the timing cover, because you can see, in order to get to the bolts to loosen up your gear so that you can change your timing, you know, the oil fill hole only show, when you take that off, it only shows the gear nut. They sell a timing cover at Power Driven and other places, and it's like 500 bucks. And it comes with a plate on there that you can unbolt to get to the gear. Well, I really didn't want to spend 500 bucks on a billet plate. I mean, I don't need billet, it doesn't need to be billet, I just didn't want to buy it. So I'm modifying it, and I'm going to cut a hole in it, and I'm going to put this in there. This is like a clutch cover for a motorcycle. I bought it on Amazon for like 20 bucks, and it has Allen heads that go around it, and you can take this off and you can get to the bolts. Then you can put it back on. It has a rubber O-ring that seals it right here, and it also has a rubber O-ring that seals it right here, so nothing can get out. Kind of a cheap solution. And I had to glue it. You can see I have some weather strip adhesive, because this whole thing was just flopping apart. This piece of, I don't know, polycarbonate plastic, it wasn't held in by anything. You take the cover off and the plastic piece just falls out. I didn't like that, so I glued it in. I also glued the O-ring into here so that when you're pulling this cover off, the O-ring doesn't just fall out. And I also glued this O-ring into the back so that everything stays put when you take this off. It is aluminum. I thought it was plastic. I may have to cut it with a cutoff wheel. I always thought these were friggin' plastic. How slick is that? It pains me to cut a hole in this. I want you all to know that. It absolutely guts me to cut an original part. I don't like doing it, but because of what we're doing and drag racing and stuff, I figured it was necessary. It was a good upgrade to do. I hate to do it, but That's cool because it's clear, you know, you'll be able to see that gear turning and the oil coming, and I think that's cool. I got all the holes drilled, tapped, and I have screws in them, and I cut them off flush with the cover so there's no chance that the screw can hit the gear. And this is just a test fit. I got 2 bolts in it because I know this, when I tried to test fit it, it's very close. The hole in this cover is like very close to not being big enough, but I can get the socket on every one. See how close that is to not being able to go on? I mean, it's very, very tight, but we're good. I got everything put back together, and I started the engine. I got all the accessories put back on, intercooler. Successful surgery. You got to admit, that's pretty cool to see. Well, it's been a few weeks since I got that timing gear put on, and we got some goodies in the mail. So check this out, boys and girls. Legit setup right here. This has been kind of a nightmare to get figured out. And I also got some tubes, and I also got a screw kit for the rims, but I don't want to put the screws in, and I'll explain that here in a sec. So again, I'm learning about all this drag racing stuff as I go along. I'm not a professional at this. This is my first time doing all of this, and I wasn't gonna run tubes initially because I was like, well, why run tubes, you know? Because usually you run tubes if you put screws in the tire, and you put screws in the tire, or in the rim, to stop the rim from spinning on the tire, you know. But then I read online that for heavy vehicles it's better to run tubes because it stiffens up the sidewall. So okay, that's cool. I bought tubes just in case I was gonna use them, which I think I am gonna use tubes because the truck is fairly heavy. Well, once you put tubes in, you have to make sure that the rim, and again, I don't know if I'm pushing enough power for this, but I'm just safeguarding for the future. If you do run tubes, the tire cannot slip on the rim because the valve stem is connected to the tube, and if the rim rotates apart from the tire, it'll rip the stem out and blow your tire and all that. But I just bought these rims, and I don't want to put screws in. The solution that I read online that people use is they use Permatex high-tack gasket sealant. So you put that around the bead, and when you put the tire and the tube on and you air it up, it's tacky, so it stops the rim from spinning on the tire. So that's the solution we're going to go with for now.
So hopefully you should be able to squirt it down. We'll have to wipe it off, but
man, I don't think this thing will friggin' fit on this tire machine.
Might have to do it on the ground maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that tire machine, well, I was going to say it gives it some stability. How much air do you run in them? 20?
Yeah. It's probably good, right?
Yeah.
Here, let's get this thing.
The thing I was looking at, that stud probably got a nut on it, don't it?
Yeah, it does. I'll take this stud nut off and put those right here. Won't fit. This has to be drilled out bigger. The threads on the stem, the valve stem hole is not big enough. Well, it's got to be drilled out, so just so you see what I'm talking about. See, the valve stem, the cap will go through, but there's threads. You actually screw a lock nut on this metal valve stem, and it won't go all the way through. All right, so I made a mistake on this tire. I put the valve stem in and tightened the nut down, and then when I put the tire around the bead of the rim, it pushed down on the valve stem and it ripped it a little bit. I have no idea how this is holding air. It's not leaking, but you can't trust that. I mean, you can't trust that. So I had to go all the way down to another side of town to a place called Don's Hot Rod Shop and blow another $125 on another tube. Because I don't trust that one. You can't, it's ripped. So while I was out, I also got some baby powder, because what trick that he said to do was to put some baby powder in the tire, so that if the tire does spin on the rim and you got the tube in there, the baby powder kind of acts like a lubricant from the tube to the tire. So this tire is too big to do with the tire machine to get it on there initially, so what we had to do was kind of Almost messed up twice. A little bit of air. Now I can pull the stem through and air it up. Well, I'll dry this off first, and then we'll...
You gotta make sure that glue sticks.
All right, after messing with this for like literally all day long, we got the baby booty powder inside, we got the tubes inside, got the high tack, whatever around the rim, and they come with metal valve stems because if you run, I can't remember what it is, under 11 seconds, or if you're running slicks or whatever, you're supposed to have metal valve stems. So they came with metal valve stems. Whew, that was a fight and a half getting those on there, but they're on there. We'll set the slicks in the back of the truck for now. I already tried putting the rim on the rear end before I put the tires on, and it hits the brakes. So I ordered some 2-inch wheel spacers that we're gonna have to put on to get these to fit over the brakes. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait for those to come in the mail. But June 26th is the last event at the Tucson Dragway before they have no events until October 9th because it's summertime and it's really hot. So I'll get my wheel spacers in, I'll be able to fit these tires to the back. I think I'm gonna probably have to take the rear fenders off. It does not fit those fenders whatsoever. And we'll go racing and we'll see what it does. Again, my goal is 12 seconds something at, I don't know, 110, 120. So that's my goal with this truck. That one came off. Cool.
more, I think.
There's plenty more actually. One more. No, wait. Two more. You can pull it off.
Here.
So, problem I'm running into is that the wheel spacer fits just fine, but my lug nuts that go over these do not fit. And even if you could machine some of this cone down, right, because the bolt fits in, problem is the nut doesn't have enough clearance to get a socket in there also. So these lug nuts are trashed, and I bought one of these from a local place, and now it's got a little bit of clearance, right? Still a 7/8. This is a 15/16 socket. This is a 7/8. 7/8 socket still will not fit in there, so we're kind of running into an issue here. So I bought some lug nuts from Lug Nut Guys. Now it's Wednesday, and I barely hit the cutoff. They'll be here on Friday. Those lug nuts will fit here and have a 3/4 socket, so I could get a 3/4 in here. So I'm gonna have to wait for those lug nuts. I'm gonna try and grind down a 7/8 socket to be able to fit in this hole, so I can at least tighten one or two of these lug nuts so that I can mount this wheel on and make sure everything is gonna fit for Friday. Check it out. I mean, it's it's super thin wall. Cool. I just wanted it on there stable so I could put these tires on. Got this in the way.
Cutting board's gonna have to come clean off there.
So I would spray paint the caliper, put the tire on, and see where it was hitting, and then grind the caliper down. I probably did that multiple times, but I ended up getting it to fit. I just got my lug nuts from Lug Nut Guys. Super huge thank you to Lug Nut Guys. This isn't sponsored, but I've heard a lot of good things about Lug Nut Guys. They got me these 2-day airmail, and they're friggin' reasonably priced. It's like $1 a lug nut. Anywhere in town is $2.20, $2.30 a lug nut. Good price on lug nuts. Got it to me in 2 days. Let's get these lug nuts on. Let's get these slicks put on so we can put this thing on the trailer. I would drive it down to the drag strip. I do have plates on it. It's totally legal to drive. It's got signals and lights. I mean, it's road legal. Only reason I want a trailer is because, I mean, in the event I bust something and I can't fix it, I don't know how I want to be able to put it on a trailer. I don't want to have to be like, well, somebody has to go back home and get a trailer. And no, I want to be able to just load it up and go. So we got a trailer. Sweet. Here we are at the Tucson Dragway. We got Big REO out here, and I'm about to make my first pass. I brought my buddy Jacob out here, and me and him are gonna go head to head and see what we do. Got the slicks mounted up. Hopefully it does better than 15 seconds. It's gotta be up. Thank you. That first pass was 14.1 at 97 miles an hour, a reaction time of 0.9, so almost a second. So if I could react faster, I could bring that down into the 13s, and I still don't feel like I did a boosted launch. I don't feel like I spun out, but if I can get my reaction time down and I can actually do a boosted launch, I don't know, 10 PSI, something like that, I feel like we could really dude, we're gonna get into the 12s, I'm telling you, that's the goal, it's what I want. So I put down maybe 4 or 5 passes. The last one I did was my best one, 13.8 at 97. I can't seem to get much higher than 97. I feel like the truck's doing the best it can. Like I really feel like I can't really go much further. Foot's to the floor, I'm not burning out, not spinning the tires, it's getting grip. The only reason I think that was my best pass is because I left harder. So I don't have any more top end, I guess, but I'm leaving harder off the line, which is making my times better, but I'm not getting it up high. So I think what we're gonna do is hang out and chill for a little bit. It's about 9 o'clock, and then in a little bit, I think I'm gonna make a few more passes just to see if I can get any better. And then it's back to the drawing board. Not sure I'm gonna get in the 12s today. Well, I didn't quite make it into the 12s like I was gunning for, but that's okay. This has been a whole learning experience, and it's been a lot tougher than I thought. And in between the runs, I didn't make any changes to the truck. I made no changes to timing or anything like that. So all of those gains were from just me driving it differently. So I picked up a half a second from me driving it. I'm getting better as I go along. The first year that I went to duct tape drags, I took a Cummins swapped Ford dually just for funsies, you know, just to participate, and I ran 25 seconds down the quarter mile. And then I built this, and the best I could do next year was 15 seconds flat. And then last night we did 14.1 and got down to 13.6. So little by little I'm inching up, I'm getting better. This isn't the last you've seen of this REO. If you guys watched my video on the gold 12 valve Cummins, I found a P pump and it was on that truck. And I took that 215 pump off, which is the 215 pump is the best pump for making power. And I sent that off to Power Driven Diesel to have them work it, max it out, balance it, put it on the test stand, rebuild it. I mean, it's going to be a race pump. Yeah, I just keep thinking about why I wasn't able to go faster, why 97, 98 is really my limit. And when I'm passing the trap, the finish line, I notice my RPMs are at like 2300, 2200, and they should be higher than that. And I notice that it just doesn't want to get past that, like I can feel it. And the reason I think that may be is because, one, this is I think a 160 P pump, and it may have trouble just delivering the fuel, but also I think it's could be my head. This is a stock head. I get the feeling that there's a restriction in the airflow, and it just doesn't want to go past that. I feel like if I had like a nice ported head, I could get up higher RPMs, you know, it would breathe a lot better. Yeah, it's just a theory. It's just more money, right? Don't forget, Blue Collar Drags is October 8th and 9th. Dalton from Pole Barn Garage, Junkyard Digs, I'll be there. A lot of other YouTube creators, Farm Truck and Asian, are going to be there. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be at the Tucson Dragway, so get your tickets now as a spectator or as a racer. Don't forget that. Make sure you be there. And thank you for all your support watching the channel, for picking up t-shirts and everything. And with that, we will see you guys very soon in the next video.